Hi friends, this is Chris with Josephine's Design and Healthy Living for Him. So, I am back today to talk about something very personal to me. Um, PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome disease, however you were taught, um, was something that I was diagnosed with very young before anyone knew what it was. I was diagnosed in high school. I had struggled with my weight. I had struggled with all kinds of problems. I had irregular periods. I had um, really not good periods that eventually caused major problems later. I also had hair growth, and I've just recently found out that a lot of times women with PCOS, and there's a long list of symptoms, so to speak. But I also had heavy, needed bikini waxes. And back then we didn't do that kind of thing. So um, it was mortifying. I grew up on the coast. I mean, we were always living in our bathing suits. And I developed very early. By third grade, I needed a bra, an undergarment. And remember, by fifth grade, I was 5'4". So I played center on the basketball team. I mean, it was unusual. And which I don't anymore, that's not unusual. I mean, we see little girls really early on, my period began early. It began, I believe I was in fifth grade. I was mortified. Nobody had their period in our whole grade level at that time, but me and one other gal. That poor thing, all the other kids were very mean to. And she was a very thin, very lean, very muscular gal. And I wasn't necessarily lean. I was very muscular. I mean, incredibly muscular, but I was not super lean. And I wasn't chunky overweight either, though my mother began me at Weight Watchers at 10. So you can imagine. I had the kind of thighs that the muscle stuck up out on. Just crazy kind of muscles in my legs and arms and all of that. Had a flat stomach till I had surgery when I was pregnant with my oldest. I mean, completely flat. Didn't matter how much weight I gained. I had a flat stomach because I had so much muscle. And then, of course, they cut through my muscles when they cut me from hip to hip, and it never quite recovered correctly. So, because it was I was pregnant on top of that as well. So, and that required, and I'll go through that history. It required my left ovary to be removed, and then due to hormone increase in pregnancy, I was told it would be very hard for me to get pregnant. It didn't happen right away. It was not easy. I did not have to go to fertility treatments. My issue was holding pregnancies. I could get pregnant, I just couldn't keep pregnancies. The first pregnancy that we know of, there may have been one prior to that was a miscarriage. Um, when we were first married, but I I was in bed most of that pregnancy. I had a multilocular cyst in the first, and with our oldest, multilocular cyst, and it was huge, and it had gotten lodged up underneath my left ribs, and eventually, when they went in, I had to wait as long as I could during pregnancy to get through the first trimester. At 13 weeks, we removed the cyst because and it had to be removed. It was lodged and stuck up underneath my ribs by that point. And it was huge. It was, huge. And so that was quite a surgery, and then a recovery, and then to be pregnant on top of that. And so, but I was very thankful. I mean, I prayed the prayer of Hannah. I asked God for a child, and God blessed us. And the first thing they said was, it's cancer, and if we do, we're going to go in and do a complete hysterectomy. And I said, absolutely not. God gave us this child, and no matter what, we will get the child born. And then if I have to go have chemo afterwards, it will remove the ovary, have the baby born, and then if I have to have chemo, we'll do it after, whatever we have to do. And so we had a family friend or client who was the doctor who diagnosed me with infertility, and she was on our insurance. We were in the process of switching insurances, and my OBGYN at that time was not on my insurance. We paid out of pocket until our insurance switched. So I had surgery in August. My insurance switched in October, so that's kind of the story. And she was the doctor, the infertility doctor who diagnosed PCOS. And I remember the first time I ever saw it publicly was an article that talked about Melanie Griffith having it. And I just remember thinking, no one ever says this. No one ever talks about this. I wish I would have cut out that article because it was like, finally, finally. But I remember the summer that I had to let my mother demanded that I let everything grow out on my face, and I had to go to youth camp, and it was embarrassing. So that when I went to the endocrinologist, they would believe that I had a problem. Endocrinologist said no because that day I started my period. Yeah, was that scientific? Absolutely not. And that endocrinologist was a woman, and she was known for being very, very rude in our city, and she was. And I was in high school. I was mortified. But when I went and saw the infertility doctor, she immediately diagnosed, blood test, everything, and put me on all kinds of medication that immediately caused weight to fall off. I had gained a lot of weight by the time high school came around, though I was very active. Um, it just was funky. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a season in my life I was on, track, and I was on volleyball, and I was on basketball, and I played soccer with the boys' PE class, and there were other teams I was on at softball, and anyways, I was in varsity. So I was running all the time, and long distance running, and getting up and running on my own, and besides what I did at school, because I desperately wanted to lose weight. And I knew it would make it easier for me to run more and be faster and all those good things, and I just couldn't do it. And so PCOS became a blessing and a nemesis. So they're just things that I think now we talk about more. This is 40 some odd years later that I'm talking about this. Back then, we didn't talk about this stuff. It was embarrassing. You went and got your lip waxed or whatever, and I did it one time, and they ripped the skin off my face, and I was like, I will never do this again. And then I remembered trying it when I was younger. I was married with children, and I remember doing it in my home and thinking, oh my gosh, I bought the home thing, and I was like, oh, this was crazy, and I will never do that again. And then I would just pluck hairs. I would pluck hairs. I would use little like razors for your face for women, and I would use, for the longest time, I just bleached everything. I bleached everything. So, hold on, guys. I got an alarm, I think, going off. So, sorry. But and I remember a friend called me at one point saying, what do you use to bleach? And I remember thinking, dang, it can be seen, and that's embarrassing. And so then as life went on, people were literally like exfoliating their face in the last few years with those little women's electric razors, or even those twinkle razors. And it's a great exfoliator, no doubt. And I had just kind of submitted to that and thought, okay, but I have and as you age, because I took my last ovary out after I lost right before I lost our last baby. And so I went, and I've shared this before, from pregnancy. So we had our first daughter, we lost that child, possibly miscarriage, first daughter, lost our daughter, son, another pregnancy, and in the middle we adopted our youngest daughter, we were getting ready to have a full hysterectomy. I was scheduling it. I got pregnant in April, and we were scheduling the hysterectomy for June. So I had been having cyst bursts for years and thought, I can't continue like this. I can't do it. And I have a really high pain tolerance, and I know that. And so, very well documented, but because of the threat of it, I'd had a friend whose grandmother who potentially had ovarian cancer. The doctor just kept talking to me more and more. We really, 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 really need to address this. And so I was like, okay. I still have my uterus. I kept my uterus because I felt like there were some hormones there, and I was advised to keep it. But it didn't take away, even though you remove the ovaries and you take them both out. I have been told by doctors, actually, your symptoms in PCOS can be amplified. So you have to be aware of that. And I was like, how, So, but it can. It can. So, um, back to, so I've been doing the twinkle. I've been, I've bleached, I've waxed, I've twinkled, which is just the little flat razor. I've done the electric razors. I've done it all. So I decided that I was watching someone else on YouTube in the keto world talking about using an epilator for their legs and underarms and all that. And I was like, I'm really at that point in my life. Because both of my ovaries are gone, I went through menopause. My hair growth is very, very fine on my legs, under my arms. It's not as heavy, but I have these weird strays on my face. And sometimes they're turning white. So I also did the laser. I did all the laser on my face, but they come back. I don't care what anybody says. At least for PCOS patients, you go and you get all these treatments, and you have to do them in a series, and you have to let it grow out, and it's always embarrassing, and et cetera, et cetera. So then you go and you get zapped, and now mine have turned white. And they are like coarse hair, which just happens when we age. Okay, right. Okay. 29 and holding, but do have some of the old lady hairs. Yes. So, anyways, I started reading about the epilating, epilation, and I decided that I had wanted to go ahead and do it on my legs and my arms, and my razor just disintegrated here recently, and I thought, well, I don't want to go restock. Maybe it's time to make the change. So I'm going to give you 2 reviews of 2 devices that were either thumbs up or thumbs down. I also have, which I thought was the same thing, but it's a razor, so I will return that. And I've used the electric women's razor as well. But so I just got these, and these are 2 different ones that I bought them on Walmart.com. They sell very similar ones, and this one comes with a little bag and a little tiny brush. I'm not going to pull it out, and it also has a book. Oh, no, this one didn't have a book. You just have the instructions. No, it does have a book. Sorry. Okay, I had to stop and think. What did I read? What did I not read? This is battery operated. This also has a cord that has to be plugged in. There's no batteries, there's no charging it. You got to use it with the cord. It's a long cord, but depending on your bathroom or where you're going to use it, you have to decide, is that a useful thing? I did not look up their ratings. I felt like they rated fairly well on Walmart, but I did not look up. Oh gosh, sorry guys, this alarm is still going off. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong part, so excuse me for turning off the alarm. I did not look at the ratings. They were rated well, or I wouldn't have bought them on Walmart.com. But I kind of trust the Amazon rating a little bit better. And I don't know why, but I just feel like it's more true to life. So this one I bought, it is supposed to be used anywhere. I thought because it was small, it would work well on my face. It works okay. I have kind of sat on the fence. You can hear it. That one sounds very similarly. This one does have a light. I don't like the light. Because of my eye issue right now, I don't like the light. It hurts my eyes. It has this little plastic case, I guess so you won't cut yourself. But I'm going to tell you that it makes it really hard. I have one little stubborn hair that will not get picked up at all by this at all. So I am going to write a review, send this back, tell them no go. I do not think that's worth the money. Now, it was pretty inexpensive. I want to think I paid like $12.99 or at the most $20. And I really can't look it up, so I'm sorry. I will try to look up the prices and list them in the comment section. If I don't, go to Walmart, walmart.com. You'll see Camel Epilator KM-1999. But again, I don't want to send you to something that I just don't think is that great. I spent a long time trying to get this to work. A long time. Now, I had seen a Braun one, and of course, my husband was a huge Braun electric shaver guy for years. You could only have Braun, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So, I thought I had one, and I did not. And there was one And I'm not sure if they flipped it or if I hit the wrong thing, but I ended up with this Phillips. This, I guess you can use it on. I haven't read that part, but it seems logical since that's there. But you can also go without. That gets it done. It's just a simple on, off, and there's like a middle, so if you don't want it as intense, it gets it done. But I tried it on my face for just a second to see, like, I don't like sharing things from my legs to my face. I'm going to be honest. You can clean it, you can do whatever you want, but there's no way to get all that clean. So if it goes on my face, it's only used on my face. And that is kind of a thing. We have a solar, and I'll share more about that, device, infrared, and I won't cross that bridge. And my husband and I share it, it's for our backs and my knee and stuff like that. But I will share that in another review. But I will tell you, I will keep that for my legs. It will be a pain to have to plug it in. It will be a pain to have a cord. But I'm going to be really honest. I think it's going to get it done. And I'm really thankful for that. Now, will I keep that in my bathroom? No. I'll just keep it at my dressing table, and that's where I'll do it. I would not recommend this for the face. I'm trying to think. Do they say you can use it for your face? Sensitive area cap. So I guess you can use it for your face if you put the sensitive area cap on it. But again, it's going to make it really hard. And if you're like me, you don't want an inch long hair before you take it off, right? Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to return this. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to use this for my legs and underarm. And then I'm going to purchase, there's a brawn that I'll come back and review once I receive it. It's $100. Yeah, my husband's kind of a cow, but, whoops, sorry guys. But that is definitely cheaper than a laser treatment, a series of treatments if you get them on sale on Groupon, which is the only way to do it. But I'm just at a point that, so I want to share with you, I've taken care of a lot of older people as they've passed away. And sometimes the women can have hair growth. And usually, I'm going to say it's not attractive. It's not. But I will tell you that like extended family members will get very upset about it. And I have taken an older person out to eat with full-blown half-inch all over the face. It was white, so, but it was for somebody who was such a beautiful, well-dressed woman. It was inexcusable that the caregiver would send her out like that. So, and the extended family member was very upset by it. So I kind of feel like if I invest $99, hopefully it'll last, maybe 10 years, and then we'll decide. And the theory behind epilation is, I can pluck the hair, but it'll come back thick and hard. I know this may not be your cup of tea, but I'm being really blunt and honest here, so forgive me. But I don't want that. Also, if you shave it, it can come back with a sharp edge. Like men have, like when their beards growing out, it's so pokey, yucky. So I don't want coarse hair. I don't want sharp, coarse hair, and I don't want to see it. So, and since I'm down to like maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 white and 4 very fine, light colored, and then maybe 3 really dark, thick. I really just want to get something that will zap it. This, I spent like 30 minutes trying to get one hair. And I thought, who has time for this? This is ridiculous. This nipped it like that. So I know this will be great for legs and underarms. I think this would be a pain. But the one I'm looking at is like a wand with a little cap that you can literally take it sideways on the edge where the top is on it, and it will just catch it. So you could literally do one at a time, which for me, that's all I need. If I had to do a whole lot heavy like that family member I was just, describing, this would be the better thing. Now, because that person, as they age, did not like pain, it would not be an option. It would have to be an electric razor of some sort. But I'm hoping that it will make the treatment better for when I age. And if anybody has to help me as I age, God willing, I live a long time, then, I mean, that's honestly, you can embarrass me. I wouldn't care about not wearing makeup or having my hair cut, but I would care about that. And that's mainly because I was humiliated as a young girl. I mean, humiliated by it. That camp was rough. I was taunted by two little boys, and when I still know, and I, I cannot tell you how humiliating that was. Um, not gonna say another word, or I'll cry. But so I think $99 is a good investment. Now you can buy them like new, but I feel like anything you're going to put on your face, you probably want it new in a box, because it's just too hard to clean. That's just I have acute atopic dermatitis, so I can't do what other people do, if that makes any sense. It has to be a completely new and clean blade. I don't share certain things. I mean, I have to be careful of that. And my youngest daughter is going through the same thing right now, on her. Okay, sorry guys, I'm not sure where it dropped off. I was gonna say I've even used the creams that remove hair. I just didn't. I have acute atopic dermatitis. I would break out every time, just like the wax would cause my skin to be bright red. That can be from pulling off of skin, yes, but also just even the chemicals in the wax could cause me problems. And because some of them are more fragrant, they just have different blends. Um, so this is just an honest evaluation of something that I've purchased. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not an expert. This is just things that I've tried. And PCOS, guys, find a great doctor, not a good doctor, a great, who specializes in PCOS. I don't necessarily have that anymore, but I am going to a women's practice here in the next month. Matter of fact, end of this month, for my physical. And I will tell you that being or seeing a group of women is far more important to me than, because if you're in a practice of all women doctors, somebody's going to have dealt with this and they're going to have a better, understanding of PCOS with, postmenopause. And it changes. It just changes, guys. So you got to find what works for you. I do not take any medication for PCOS. I do not take any bioidentical hormones. But I will talk to them about that at this visit. Is it